Welcome to our channel. Today we'll delve into Teresa Graves' life, a trailblazer in Hollywood, best known for her groundbreaking role as the fearless detective in Get Christie Love. She made history as the first African-American woman to lead a police drama, captivating audiences with her charm, talent, and undeniable presence. But behind the bright lights of fame, Teresa's life took a dramatic turn, one that led her away from the industry she once dominated. From her rise to stardom to her tragic and untimely death, this is the life and heartbreaking ending of Teresa Graves. Early life and career beginnings. Teresa M. Graves was born on January 10, 1948 in Houston, Texas, to Marshall and Willie Graves. Growing up in a time of immense cultural and social change in America, young Teresa had an undeniable spark, one that would eventually lead her to stardom. While not much is publicly documented about her early childhood, it is clear that she possessed an innate talent for performing. After completing high school, she wasted no time in chasing her dreams. Her first major step into the entertainment industry was as a member of the Doodletown Pipers, a popular singing group known for its energetic performances and harmonious vocals. The group was active throughout the 1960s and made frequent television appearances, including on shows like The Ed Sullivan Show and The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Their upbeat, family-friendly style made them a favorite in the club scene, and they performed across the United States, Canada, and Puerto Rico. While many aspiring entertainers struggled to find steady work, Teresa's time with the Doodletown Pipers gave her invaluable experience in the industry. She learned how to command a stage, work with a group, and connect with an audience, skills that would serve her well in her later acting career. However, despite the success of the group, Teresa knew that her true passion lay beyond music. After 2 years of touring and performing, she made the bold decision to shift her focus to acting, stepping into an industry where opportunities for African-American women were still extremely limited. Teresa's transition from singing to acting wasn't instant, nor was it easy. The late 1960s was a time when diversity in Hollywood was still lacking, and roles for Black women were often stereotypical or scarce. However, her undeniable talent and radiant screen presence helped her break through these barriers. Her first major television appearances came in 1967 when she joined the cast of Our Place, a short-lived variety show that aimed to blend music, comedy, and entertainment in a fresh, engaging format. Though the show itself didn't last long, it gave Teresa her first real experience in front of the camera and allowed her to showcase her natural charisma. Then, in 1969, she appeared in the now infamous single episode of Turn On, a show that was canceled so quickly that some stations actually stopped airing it midway through its premiere. Designed to be an experimental, fast-paced comedy series in the vein of Laugh In, Turn On was met with overwhelmingly negative reactions from both audiences and network executives, making it one of the shortest-lived TV shows in history. While this was certainly not the career breakthrough Teresa had hoped for, it was nonetheless another stepping stone on her path to greater success. It was Rowan and Martin's Laugh In that truly put Teresa Graves in the national spotlight. She joined the show in 1969, bringing a unique energy and charm that quickly made her a fan favorite. Laugh In was a revolutionary variety show that combined fast-paced comedy sketches, satirical humor, and musical performances, and it became one of the most popular television programs of its time. On Laugh In, Teresa was best known for her role as the Mod World Bikini Girl, where she showcased not only her stunning looks, but also her impeccable comedic timing. Her presence on the show was groundbreaking in its own right, During a time when African American actresses were still fighting for visibility, Teresa stood out as a talented performer who could hold her own alongside comedy legends. Her success on Laugh-In led to another major opportunity, touring with Bob Hope on his USO shows and television specials in 1969. These performances were a significant milestone in her career, as Bob Hope's USO tours were internationally recognized and featured some of the biggest names in entertainment. Teresa's involvement in these shows not only expanded her audience, but also solidified her status as a rising star in Hollywood. Film and television career. By the early 1970s, Teresa Graves was steadily making a name for herself in Hollywood. She had already proven her comedic talents on Laugh-In and gained valuable experience touring with Bob Hope. However, it was her transition into film and drama that would define her legacy. In 1973, Teresa landed her first major leading role in the horror comedy film Vampira, also known as Old Dracula in the U.S., playing Countess Vampira, the wife of Dracula. This opportunity came largely due to the influence of Jeremy Lloyd, her former Laugh-In castmate, who wrote the screenplay. The film, produced in England, was meant to capitalize on the popularity of horror spoofs and the ongoing blaxploitation trend in the early 70s. However, Vampira took a unique approach, combining gothic horror with social commentary. The storyline revolved around Count Dracula, played by David Niven, who accidentally transforms his long-lost wife into a black woman after a failed blood transfusion experiment. Teresa's role as Countess Vampira wasn't just about playing a vampire. It was a bold statement on race and identity during a time when Hollywood was still hesitant to embrace diverse casting. While Vampira wasn't a massive hit at the box office, it did mark an important moment in Teresa's career. Not only was she the first black actress to play a Dracula-related lead, but she also showcased her ability to take on roles that blended comedy, horror, and social themes. This film helped set the stage for her most famous role, one that would make television history. Teresa's biggest breakthrough came shortly after Vampira, when she was cast as the lead in Get Christie Love, a blaxploitation-inspired TV movie pilot that aired in 1974. The film was such a success that it was quickly expanded into a full-fledged television series. In Get Christie Love, Teresa played Christie Love, a fearless, street-smart undercover detective working for the Los Angeles Police Department. With her signature catchphrase, "You're under arrest, sugar," Teresa brought a mix of strength, charisma, and charm to the role. At the time, female-led police dramas were almost unheard of, let alone one starring a black woman. This made Teresa a true trailblazer, paving the way for future generations of black actresses in leading roles on television. The show's success was groundbreaking. Get Christie Love made Teresa the first African-American woman to lead a police drama on network television, a milestone in Hollywood history. It was an era when television was still struggling with representation, and her presence on primetime TV was a powerful statement. However, despite the show's initial success, trouble began brewing behind the scenes. By the time Get Christie Love transitioned from a movie pilot to a full one-hour series, Teresa had undergone a major personal transformation. She had become deeply devoted to her Christian faith. While these requests were based on her faith, they caused major production challenges. A police drama typically requires action, undercover work, and intense storylines. But with these restrictions, the show struggled to maintain the tension and realism that audiences expected. After just one season, Get Christie Love was canceled. Some critics blamed the show's downfall on the limitations imposed by Teresa's religious beliefs, while others argued that the writing and production quality weren't strong enough to sustain a long-running series. Regardless of the reasons, Teresa's time as TV's first black female detective was over, but her impact was undeniable. Even though Get Christie Love had made her a household name, Teresa's commitment to her faith outweighed her passion for acting. Over the next few years, she made only a few rare television appearances. Her final role was on a Bob Hope TV special in 1982, marking the end of her career in entertainment. By 1983, Teresa made the life-changing decision to leave Hollywood entirely. She officially retired from acting and dedicated herself fully to her faith as a Jehovah's Witness. Unlike many celebrities who struggle with leaving fame behind, Teresa embraced a quiet spiritual life. She stepped away from the spotlight, no longer attending industry events or seeking roles. For her, Hollywood was no longer where she belonged. This choice shocked many of her fans and colleagues. At a time when diversity in Hollywood was still evolving, Teresa could have continued to break barriers and redefine roles for black actresses. But for her, there was something more important than fame, fortune, or legacy: her personal relationship with God. While Teresa Graves was known to the world as a talented actress and a trailblazer in Hollywood, her personal life remained remarkably private. Unlike many of her celebrity peers, who embraced the spotlight both on and off the screen, Teresa preferred to keep her relationships and home life away from public scrutiny. In 1977, Teresa took a significant step in her personal life when she married William D. Reddick in Los Angeles, California. While details about their relationship remained scarce, their union marked a notable chapter in her journey. However, much like her career, Teresa's marriage did not follow a conventional path. By 1983, their marriage had ended in divorce. The reasons for their separation were never publicly disclosed, but given the timeline, it is likely that Teresa's deepening religious convictions played a role. Around this time, she had already begun withdrawing from Hollywood, choosing faith over fame. As a Jehovah's Witness, she adopted a lifestyle that prioritized spiritual growth and personal sacrifice, which may have created challenges within her marriage. Unlike many celebrities who remarry or remain in the public eye, Teresa never pursued another romantic relationship, at least not one that was made known to the public. She also never had children, a decision that, whether intentional or circumstantial, added to the sense of solitude that would define her later years. Following her retirement from Hollywood in 1983, Teresa Graves fully embraced a life of service and faith. She moved into a modest home located at 3437 West 78th Place in the Hyde Park neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. Unlike the lavish mansions many Hollywood stars called home, Teresa's residence was humble and unassuming, a reflection of the simple, faith-driven life she had chosen. One of the most defining aspects of her later years was her dedication to her mother, Willie Graves. Instead of seeking the luxuries that Hollywood could offer, Teresa devoted herself to being a full-time caregiver. It was a profound act of love and responsibility, one that spoke volumes about her character. While many former celebrities struggle with life after fame, Teresa seemed at peace, focusing on her mother's well-being rather than seeking public recognition. Unlike many retired stars who seek occasional moments in the limelight, Teresa Graves truly disappeared from public life. She did not make talk show appearances, attend red carpet events, or participate in celebrity reunions. Instead, her life revolved around her faith, her family, and acts of service. For the outside world, it was as if Teresa had vanished. Some might have seen this as a tragic decline, a once rising star who faded into obscurity. But for Teresa, this was a deliberate choice, one that gave her a sense of fulfillment that Hollywood never could. She spent her remaining years away from cameras and headlines, living in the quiet Hyde Park neighborhood, a world apart from the glitz and glamour of Los Angeles. While the entertainment industry had once defined her, she no longer needed it. Teresa had found her true purpose, a life of faith, devotion, and unwavering commitment to the people she loved. Tragic death. On October 10th, 2002, tragedy struck the quiet home of Teresa Graves in the Hyde Park neighborhood of Los Angeles. A devastating house fire broke out, turning what should have been a peaceful night into a fatal disaster. The fire was caused by a faulty portable space heater, a common household item that, unfortunately, can become extremely dangerous when malfunctioning. Space heaters are often used to warm specific areas of a home, but if left unattended or if the wiring is faulty, they can quickly ignite flammable materials. Given that Teresa lived in a modest older home, it's possible that the structure itself was more vulnerable to fire hazards, a tragic reminder of the hidden dangers that many people face in their own homes. As the fire spread, a smoke alarm in the front of the house was activated, but tragically, Teresa never heard it. Whether she was asleep or simply unable to react in time remains unclear. By the time firefighters arrived, the flames had already engulfed a significant portion of the home. They found Teresa unconscious in the rear bedroom, a heartbreaking sign that she may have been trying to escape but was ultimately overcome by the thick smoke and heat. Emergency responders rushed Teresa to Daniel Freeman Memorial Hospital in nearby Inglewood, desperately trying to save her. However, the effects of smoke inhalation and severe burns had already taken a devastating toll on her body. Smoke inhalation is often the leading cause of death in house fires, as the toxic gases from burning materials can render a person unconscious within minutes. Even if the flames never touch them, the inability to breathe clean air can be just as fatal. Despite the efforts of medical professionals, Teresa Graves succumbed to her injuries shortly after arriving at the hospital. She was just 54 years old, far too young for a woman who had once been a symbol of strength, beauty, and groundbreaking success in Hollywood. However, news of her passing still sent shockwaves through Hollywood and among her loyal fans. Though she had left the spotlight 2 decades earlier, those who had grown up watching Get Christie Love or had admired her work in Laugh-In and Vampira felt the loss deeply. Fans took to social media and online forums to express their grief, remembering Teresa as a pioneer for Black actresses and a woman who broke barriers in television. Many recalled the impact of seeing a confident, intelligent, and fearless Black woman leading a primetime series at a time when such representation was rare. Fellow actors and colleagues who had worked with her in the 1960s and 1970s shared fond memories, speaking of her kind heart, infectious laughter, and unwavering dedication to her craft. They reminisce about how she had once been the life of the party on set, full of energy and enthusiasm. Even those who hadn't seen her in years acknowledged her lasting influence on Hollywood. In keeping with the private life she had chosen, Teresa was cremated, and her ashes were scattered into the sea, a peaceful, poetic farewell to a woman who had walked away from Hollywood in search of something greater. There were no large public memorials, no extravagant Hollywood tributes. Instead, her closest friends and family mourned in private, honoring her memory in their own way. She may have left Hollywood behind, but the door she opened for Black actresses in television and film remain wide open. She proved that a Black woman could be the face of a major television series, that she could hold her own in an industry that often overlooked her talent, and that she could redefine success on her own terms. Even decades after her final performance, Teresa Graves' contributions to entertainment, representation, and culture continue to inspire. Teresa Graves' journey was one of immense talent, deep conviction, and ultimately heartbreaking tragedy. She broke barriers in Hollywood, leaving an impact that is still remembered today. Yet, her life was cut short in a devastating accident, marking a sorrowful end to a remarkable story. Though she is gone, her legacy lives on, inspiring generations of performers and fans alike. That's the content of today's video. If you enjoy the video, give us a like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive more of our new videos. Thanks for watching.